Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing from Adiba, and we're here to talk about if Conor Benn got exposed. So yesterday, Conor Benn defeated Peter Dobson in an entertaining and interesting fight. It was expected for Benn to win, but not in the fashion that he did. A lot of the fans, including the DAZN commentary team, expected Benn to win this by an early knockout. And this was mostly due to the perception of Dobson. He was seen as a journeyman who was tailor-made to make Benn look good. However, I chose Dobson for the upset. I knew going in that he was a live dog with underrated skill. Shout out to True School Sports because he was the only person that was writing for Dobson and telling the world how good he was. Despite my prediction being wrong, my assessment of the fight was pretty accurate. Dobson had the skills to neutralize the speed, explosiveness, and athleticism of Conor Benn to a certain degree. And because of how the fight played out, many people believe that Conor Benn got exposed, and I have to agree. There are 3 reasons why I think Benn got exposed. The first reason is power. Benn was regarded as a dangerous power puncher at one point. He had a reputation of knocking people out in brutal fashion. The Samuel Vargas, Van Heerden, and Chris Algieri fights were the best examples of this. However, his punching power was put into question once he was caught using PEDs. I'm not going to cover that whole scandal because of how complex it was. You can do your own research. But the WBC cleared Benn, stating that the overconsumption of eggs was the reason for the drug test failure. However, most people didn't believe it and were keen to see how Benn was going to look going forward. Benn's devastating punching power didn't show up in the Orozco fight, but that performance was excused due to Benn's layoff, Orozco being a naturally bigger opponent, and Orozco testing positive for PEDs. The Dobson fight, however, was going to be the real test to determine whether Benn had that real natural power or if the PEDs gave him that power. And as we all saw, it looks like Benn is not the devastating power puncher that he used to be, because Benn landed a lot of power shots on Dobson, especially the overhand right, which is his best punch. But we have to recognize Dobson's defensive skills and durability as well. Dobson was slipping, catching, blocking, and rolling a lot of Benn's punches, therefore reducing the damage. Furthermore, Dobson is in his prime and durable. Algieri, Van Heerden, and Samuel Vargas all had mileage on them and were older. It makes sense why they went out like they did. It's safe to say that the power isn't the same for Conor Benn. The second reason is Benn's technique. Benn is not a technical fighter. He's a fighter that relies on his athleticism. His speed, explosiveness, and power make up for his technical abilities. But he's made improvements over the last few years in regards to his technical skills. Best example of this is his jab. Big difference now compared to it a couple of years ago. And it was expected that Benn would continue to improve in that department. But Dobson showed how limited Benn's style is. As stated in my prediction video, Benn has a tendency to load up on his punches, lunge in, and throw wide looping punches, which in turn made it easy for Dobson to anticipate and react to a lot of Benn's punches, avoid the power, and create counterpunching opportunities. The tendency to load up on punches makes it hard for Benn to set up those knockouts because the punches that you don't see are the ones that hurt you the most, and Dobson was seeing all the punches from Benn. Furthermore, with Benn's reliance on his athleticism and explosiveness, this makes him easy to time and figure out his patterns. Benn was consistently caught with the same double jab right hand combination throughout the entire fight because Benn would engage and disengage in straight lines and also keep his head on the center line. And whenever the fight was on the inside, Dobson would often win in those exchanges. This fight showed me that if you have good timing and can withstand the early onslaught of Benn, you can beat him. The last reason is Benn's defense, and this was related to the second reason, but Benn showed a lot of deficiencies on the defensive end. As stated before, Benn was consistently getting hit with right hands behind a single or double jab. This was happening because Benn was staying within range whenever he disengaged. Benn would back into a straight line, which made it easy for Dobson to follow and land. Additionally, Benn was hit with a lot of counters, specifically right hands and exchanges. This was due to him keeping his head on the line while throwing wide loaded punches, and whenever Benn was put onto the ropes or on the back foot, he looked uncomfortable. Benn took a lot of body shots whenever he was on the ropes, but the biggest thing that stood out to me was Benn's chin and durability because it looked like Benn got hurt several times in this fight. Dobson landed a big right hand in the 5th round and a right uppercut on the inside in the 12th round, and both punches visibly stunned Benn. I truly believe if Dobson let his hands go and was willing to apply more pressure, he could have beaten Benn. Based on what I saw, any of the top 10 welterweights are capable of beating Benn. I find it interesting how Benn called out Mario Barrios but did not mention Jaron Ennis. If Dobson was able to find success, imagine what Boots would do, or even like a Josh Kelly. But I will say that Benn's stamina was impressive. There was no significant drop-off in his stamina, and he maintained a high pace throughout the fight. I don't know where Benn goes from here, but he definitely needs to make some improvements, particularly in his defense. Dobson, on the other hand, has gained a lot of fans and respect from the boxing world. He has a 9-to-5 job, was coming off of a 2-year layoff, and had a 5-week training camp going into this fight. Imagine if he had a full, dedicated training camp to this fight. Regardless, he fought well and definitely deserves more opportunities. Hopefully, he's signed by Eddie Hearn and is able to get more fights. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with AEO Boxing with Madiba. Like, subscribe, and more content's coming your way.